Refugees have been a hot topic of conversation this election cycle. Tonight, we're taking a look inside the life of a refugee living here in southeast Minnesota. Good evening and thank you for choosing ABC6. I'm James Wilcox.
And I'm Laura Lee. Refugees have been embedded in southeast Minnesota for decades, but this political season has made them the subject of controversy. Some presidential hopefuls are calling for them to be banned altogether, while President Obama is allowing more into the United States as a result of the growing refugee crisis in Europe.
ABC6 News reporter Megan Stewart looked deeper into the numbers and found out why Minnesota might be the most affected by the refugee increase.
My daughter had, when she was with another people, that there's a television in your house.
Abdu Ali Muhammad has been in the country for 9 months now. He came from a refugee camp in Somalia.
Just there, sitting, even if he has education, waiting for food.
In West Africa, Muhammad was a school principal. His first job in Rochester was on the line at Seneca Foods.
That's the end goal all the time, is the self-sufficiency, that everyone that we work with, as best as we can, we have them living healthy, successful lives.
Brandon Miller is a refugee case manager at Intercultural Mutual Assistance Association in Rochester. He says the Refugee Resource Center helps more than 700 clients each year, many of whom, Miller says, have the potential and work ethic employers are looking for. But they often run into simple technical issues that take refugees out of the job candidate pool.
We see cases where there might be an application that requires 10 years of residence history, and if they haven't been in the country for 10 years, they're not able to provide that.
That you're going to school?
Yeah. These obstacles aren't limited to employment. Muhammad moved here with his wife and 8 children. He says because he doesn't have a credit history, he couldn't rent any houses, so he settled for renting 2 separate apartments. Soon after, Muhammad says he received a letter saying he needed to pay child support. IMAA says it was able to determine it was the 2 different apartment addresses that triggered the letter in error.
It happens not often, but we've certainly had some cases where we've been able to intervene.
I might not even sleep with some of my beloved children in the same unit.
While he's finding his footing in Rochester, Muhammad has taken a new job as a paraprofessional at Rochester Science and Math Academy.
It's Steven. Steven.
Also known as Rochester STEM.
I like that job because it is my profession compared to working in a warehouse.
Like, you can do anything. It doesn't matter who you are. You can do anything you want.
Eklis Abduali is a student at the school with a bright future ahead of her.
Like, everybody in my class, every single person in my class is my friend. Nobody's left out.
She's the daughter of 2 refugees who first settled in Atlanta and then moved to Minnesota. They are what is called secondary migrants, and according to the U.S. Office of Refugee Resettlement, Minnesota has the highest population of refugees who find a second place to call home after first arriving in the United States. In fact, in 2012, the most recent numbers available, 2,133 refugees arrived in Minnesota from another state. Meanwhile, only 107 refugees left Minnesota that year.
We choose to come to the United States to make our families' lives better.
Ahmed Mohammed is one of those. He says because refugees are given a fixed amount of money when they come to America, it was a lump sum of $3,000 for him and his family. Places with a higher cost of living are not the most feasible. Mohammed says because of Minnesota's relatively low cost of living, low unemployment rate, and generally welcoming attitude, it makes the state a good option for secondary migrants.
I'm now an LPN graduate. I'm now started working at the Mayo Clinic. And if it wasn't for the county support and through the IMA and everything, that the resources that's available within this registered community, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Locally, the U.S. Census estimates 12.6% of Rochester's population is foreign-born. That's nearly double the statewide rate. In Austin, that number is 10.6%. And a large chunk of those numbers are refugees.
From the sponsors
while schools, workplaces, and the country grapple with finding a place for these displaced peoples.
Just to live in
Mahmoud is planning to take on a second job, hoping to offer his family a better life in America.
We cannot live within this apartment for 10 people. It is very difficult for us.
Megan Stewart, ABC 6 News.
Some great perspective there. The Minnesota Department of Human Services acknowledges it is difficult to keep tabs on all refugees coming to the state, telling ABC 6 News beyond arrivals from within particular U.S. arrival dates, there is no good way to get data on secondary arrivals as they're not tracked when they enter Minnesota.